it's so interesting that you are able to hear what I am saying. Now, how does it all happen? So that is what is understanding the functioning of this ear. So in this section, we would talk about how the ears actually function. Now, as we proceed, we would understand that when we talk about ear, we have three basic components that we talk about, and that is the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The outer ear, which we can visualize, is composed of three things. Now, when I say outer ear is composed of three things, it's the outermost ear that we visualize, and that is known as pinna. After pinna, we have the auditory canal, and after the auditory canal, there is eardrum. Now, this eardrum is similar to a drum. So, what happens is, as the sound waves travel, it hits the eardrum and this eardrum vibrates. Now, these vibrations are taken further into the inner ear. So, this whole process of ear, we would say, helps to convert the mechanical energy into the electrical form of energy, which is transmitted to our brain through the auditory nerves. Now, what happens is, we are here listening something. Now, as you are listening what is being said here, what would happen? All the sound waves are getting collected through the outer ear, moving through the pinna, auditory canal, and finally reaching the eardrum. Now, as it reaches the eardrum, this whole outer ear has a function of collecting the sound waves. Now, next function is a function of amplification. This amplification is done by middle ear. Now, this middle ear has three bones in it. The first bone, we can write it as MIS, which is malleus, incus and stapes. So, the malleus is the first bone. Then we have the incus and the stapes. Now, what they look like is another way in which we call these bones as. So, the malleus is hammer shaped, and it is also known as the hammer bone. The incus is anvil shaped, and the stapes is the stirrup shaped. Now, this stirrup is where you keep your legs while riding the horse. So, this is where you have the shape of the stirrup that is seen. Now, these three bones, interestingly, are also considered as among the smallest bones of the human body. So, what happens is, the collection of the sound waves occurs through the outer ear. Now, in the middle ear, the main purpose is amplification of sound. Amplification of sound, why is it so important? Now, understand this very, very carefully. As we have a lot of sound waves coming, you can compare the size of the eardrum versus the size of the stapes or the stirrup here. This stirrup is many times smaller as compared to the eardrum. So, the sound waves that are moving through would be going through a very small channel when they are touching the stirrup or the stapes, and therefore amplification happens, and this increases the pressure of the sound. How many times? Yes, it is 20 times. So, the sound, the pressure of the sound increases by nearly 20 times as it crosses the middle ear. As soon as it crosses the middle ear, the journey for the inner ear begins. Now, inner ear interestingly has three ring structures on the top of the cochlea. Now, what is cochlea? The name cochlea comes from snail. So, snail is also called as cochlea, and these three rings that are there have a different function, and that is a function of balancing. So, the three rings on the top of the cochlea helps us in balancing ourselves, and this cochlea interestingly has fluid in it. Now, understand this. If I am moving my hands here in the air, it is easy. But now I want to swim in the water. So, the same movement of the hands that I am doing in the air versus that I would be doing in the water would cause me more of effort, and therefore, when the sound waves move through cochlea, there is more effort that is being required. And this is the place where liquid is filled within the cochlea. We'll understand this in a while. So this liquid also has certain hair cells in it. Now what happens is, this is a simple demonstration of sound waves entering through the outer ear, moving through and touching the eardrum. As soon as the eardrum is being touched, what is happening is this mechanical energy is getting transferred from the outer ear to the middle ear and finally to the cochlea. Now this is the enlarged structure for the cochlea, as you can see. Now what would happen here? As you can see, this is the eardrum. Next to the eardrum is the hammer-shaped structure, which is the malleus. Next is the anvil-shaped structure, which is the incus, and this is the stapes or the stirrup-shaped structure. The same thing where you keep your leg while riding a horse, and this touches the cochlea. Now cochlea, as you can see the movement that was here, which is the mechanical energy getting translated into the electrical energy in the cochlea, which is finally sent to the brain for understanding what is being said by me right now, and that is how the process occurs. Now this cochlea, if I dive into the further structure of the cochlea, what would happen is, this cochlea is filled with a liquid and has brush-like structures which are also known as hair cells. So what happens is, as the sound waves comes, these hair cells bend. Now when they are bending, they create sound. So there are two important characteristics of sound. One is loudness and other is frequency. So how loud I am and what is the frequency? So what is the frequency? Those two vary. So those two things are identified by the brain, and that helps us understand the process. Now both loudness and frequency are understood by these hair cells, and as they bend, understand this to be like the keys of a piano. So what happens is, these keys have a characteristic feature. Now the hair cells are on both the surface, on the top as well as the bottom. Now the hair cells that are on the bottom basically have capture higher frequency. So I would say higher frequency is captured by the hair cells which are on the bottom of the cochlea. However, those hair cells which are coming from the top of the cochlea would capture lower frequency, or I would say those hair cells coming from the apex or the upper region would capture lower frequency. Those on the lower side would capture higher frequency sound waves, and they are spread like the keys of the piano, and these constantly gather the information, convert it into electrical signals, send it through the auditory nerve to the brain, and there is where the signals are interpreted both in terms of loudness and frequency. Also, it is interesting to note, if the particles that are entering into ear are vibrating quickly, it is a high-pitched sound. However, if the particles that are entering into the ear are vibrating slowly, it is a low-pitched sound. So we also understand the vibration which is determined by the pitch of the sound. So in this process, what we have understood today is the outer ear, which is the pinna, auditory canal, and the eardrum, that's here. The three bones which constitute the middle ear, their work is amplification of sound, and finally cochlea, which aims to convert the mechanical energy into electrical energy and transmit it through the auditory nerves to the brain, where the signals are interpreted and what is being said is being deciphered at your end. Also, very important to note, when I am speaking the words, my flow of speaking and your flow of grasping is constant. So the sound waves that are being captured are constant and instantaneous. It's not that I speak at this point and you hear it after 10 minutes or 20 minutes. So it's a constant and an instantaneous process. And also both the forms of music as well as speech can be deciphered deciphered. So we can well identify whether this is a music that is playing or this is a speech which is being communicated. So that was a quick understanding of our structure of the ear and how it actually functions. A very interesting journey. We would be covering many more lectures in science. Stay tuned. Have a wonderful day ahead.